right, everyone. Well, you saw the shop. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now I'm going to just explain a little bit about me. Now, I wanted to show you first a couple of the older things I've made. And I mean old, I mean years, so give me a moment. And I'll take some of these out and show them to you, because I think they're pretty cool still. Like things like this. Kind of looks like a hook you'd throw out to get over a wall, but I'm sure it could be used like that. I also did some really cool spider web pattern. It's kind of meant to be an offering bowl. Again, more religious items, which I'm into. Cool knife I made. Sure hope you can see that. I can't see the screen. This is my camper knife. Let's see if I can get close up on it. This is my camp style knife I made for myself. So when I'm in the woods, I've got something for me. This is the Kydex I was telling you about. Snaps right in, looks beautiful, super durable, lasts forever. Make some cool leather products. This is kind of a dump tray for your keys and everything else you need at the end of the day. You can probably see my logo in there. There we go. Pretty sweet. I like to made a few of these. One for a wedding, which is beautiful, and I'll never forget that. I like heirloom items when I make them. So oath ring, traditional style. We found a few of these. Not we, archaeologists, have found a few of those. So they have some history behind them. So some of my old stuff. You've seen the herb choppers and all the cool stuff. So what got me into blacksmithing? I started work when I was 14, 15 years old in California. That's where I'm from, Bay Area, born and raised. Thankfully I left. But you know, work's always been a godsend for me. It's everything to me. Work is super important. When I'm not working, I'm not happy. So starting work early was very good for me, because school was not for me. I'm a tactile learner. I need to be hands-on to learn anything. And that's not how they teach you in school. So didn't learn much there. Learned most of it out of school. But again, I started work at a very young age in construction. My first stepdad, I had two, still have one. That's how Doug. My first stepdad, he got me into his company, and in the summertime, as a kid, with permission, obviously, you can work. So I did that, and it was telecommunication work, drilling holes in beams and running wires, door contacts. You know, nothing to write home about. But it was a good experience for me, especially being a kid. Taught me a lot. And I grew up pretty poor, you know, white kid, poor in a Mexican neighborhood. You know, it was rough. It was. But I had a great childhood. You know, I really did. Growing up hard gives you character. That's why there's a lot of rich people out there that, you know, I just think there's something special when they're not, unfortunately. But that's, again, that's something totally different. But growing up, working like that, you know, it was good, because being poor, or poorer, working, I had some money for myself. So if I needed a cool guitar or something, I can go get it, you know, because I worked for it. I earned it. And years later, that went on, and, you know, that stepdad went out the window, and I got another stepdad around the age of 17, turning 18. And that's when I got into carpentry. Doug taught me carpentry. I'm totally indebted to Doug for that. Me and Doug, we're like the same kind of people, so we butt heads a lot. We really do, but I've always loved Doug for that, and always respect him for that, because he gave me my base in this field. And I became a really good carpenter because of it. Really good. And I've done a lot of cool stuff. So it's been a blessing in that regard. So Doug took me under his wing. I worked there for him. I kicked some major butt. I learned a lot. I got my butt kicked a lot because When you're just starting construction, you're the guy who just moves things around. And I would move thousands of pounds of lumber every single day through mud and muck, because these are undeveloped sites, and sometimes in the middle of nowhere, like Rattlesnake Canyons, building log cabins. It's pretty cool, actually. A lot of cool experience. I killed a rattlesnake under a lumber pile one time. Good story. Maybe I'll save that for later. But it was a very good base. And at a point, I was an addict towards my later years in California, so I had to leave, to get away from that crap. So I did. And I went to Florida, helped a friend move. Then I went from Florida to New York, where I have family on my father's side here. I'm in the Bronx now. So when I got here, I got into construction again eventually, but doing more of my own thing and working for smaller companies, because I'm not a big company guy. You're not going to be noticed in a big company. You're just a number. So I always did the smaller thing. And I built up over the years, and then I got my contractor's license and did it a little more serious for bigger jobs. Did that for a little bit, and then kind of just went back to my own little ways of doing things. Then I got burnt out because 2008 hit, and we all know what happened then, because construction just disappeared for anyone unless you were just already a massive corporation, and even then it hurt you. So I kind of got out of construction then, and I went into locksmithing, which is interesting. Because I just wanted to, I like doing things different. Every 5 or 7 years, I want to figure out a new trade to throw into my bag of tricks, because you just get bored doing the same stuff. I'm not that kind of guy to do factory work. I'd jump out of a window. So I became a locksmith, and within a year, because it's just my personality, I was their lead locksmith. I got that good that quick. I'm just good with my hands, so I pick things up very quick. But the thing about locksmithing is you are working with metal. And the locksmithing I did was high-end locksmithing. Like, I'm in New York City, on the really expensive high-rise, dealing with, schmucks from, President NBC, CBS, whatever that garbage is, and dealing with those personalities. But, that garbage aside, the work we did was amazing. I'd work at $100,000 doors, install $5,000 locks, things that were just insane. Custom varnishes and finishes and file work. It was cool, very cool. Real intricate pin works and MT5 locks, like Medico, you go crazy. And I'm into the little cool figure things out kind of work, so that really fit me well. But I had a boss, his name was Sammy, and he would take me because he knew, or he found out as I worked, I was the better guy with metal. I knew how to grind it clean. I knew how to drill it clean. I knew I could break a screw off in anything and get it out, I was just good at figuring those things out and doing them well. So Sammy took me to a shop of his buddies in Brooklyn, and we'd go there and stamp out on his machines a lot of cool plates we needed for, patching holes in metal doors, because New York City has a lot of metal doors. So we do a lot of that. And while in that shop, I learned a lot more metalwork, because again, it's a metalworking shop. That's what they did. So that kind of sparked the bug with blacksmithing for me, which is odd, right? A little bit. But it really seeded that metalworking in my mind, which is cool. And, I think back, it was a really interesting experience, because I never would have guessed that. And this is before the whole Forge and Fire and stuff got all famous, and Alex Steele, very popular blacksmiths were everywhere. That wasn't like that then. It was a couple, and they weren't popular. But that's what got me into it, essentially. It just set that seed, and there's something about working with metal. It's like wood, but you just have to put more work in it. Like wood, I can shape wood so quick and easy, and mess up pretty easy. With metal, I mess something up, I could put a little weld in there, grind it clean, and you'll never really know it's there unless you put it under a machine to test it. So that set the seed, and then I started watching blacksmiths on YouTube. YouTube's big for me. I'm a big fan. I don't pay for any subscriptions or anything. I don't watch any real TV. I just essentially YouTube and my movie collection. That's it. So that was the cool part. That set the seed. I started watching people on YouTube. There's a couple blacksmiths I watched that really sparked it for me. There was one guy named Chandler Dickinson. He still has a big channel. It's like over 100,000 followers, but he just hasn't done anything in years, and I hope he's well. I really do. But, he had a hard time, and life dealt him different cards, and he's not around anymore, at least not social. But again, I wish you well, and I hope you're well. But he inspired me to do a lot of things, like the herb chopper. That was from him. A couple other items I make are from him, because he had some cool ideas. And he was, like me, a self-taught smith. Like, I'm self-taught minus what I've learned watching people on YouTube. Because for the most part, I can look at something once and do it myself after that. I don't really need a lot of teaching in that regard. I can see it and do it. So YouTube really set off my blacksmithing as far as learning is concerned. So that was a really cool avenue. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing this on YouTube now. Because I don't have social media. I don't want social media. I'm not a fan of it. I think it's pretty toxic, and it's not good for our mental health in general. Like, I noticed when I had it, because I did at one time, I'm scrolling like we all do, the death scroll, the mindless drone scroll, looking for that dopamine fix. And then I put the phone down. Seconds later, I'm picking up doing the same thing. And I got to a point like, whoa, because I was an addict, remember? As I said, that is an addiction. That's exactly what that is. So when that happened, I recognized that. I go, oh, wow, crap, I can't do this. So I just deleted everything. Facebook, Instagram. I didn't really have much else. I think it was just those two. Got rid of all that crap off my phone. And yeah, it's like quitting cigarettes, After your meal or after you have a drink, when you normally light a cigarette, you go for it. So that's the part you have to get over after you delete all this stuff. But other than that, I don't miss it at all. And it's great to not have it, because it's just drone scrolling. There's a lot of cool stuff I miss, but whatever. I make cool stuff. I can see that. And there's cool stuff on YouTube, obviously. And I can learn from that. Anyway. So that was that. Got rid of all that. I feel like I'm losing my place a little bit. So, again, I have inspiration on YouTube. I'm wanting to start this YouTube so I can help more people and just share myself a little more with people, because I've been, again, off social media. I had a decent following. I got rid of it because it got toxic. And I know a lot of people appreciated my work and liked my work, and they reached out. They admired me in certain ways, and that was nice. And if I can help and give a little inspiration out there, give some positivity back into the world, that's what it's about, because there's too much crap everywhere. We need more of this, I think. So that's why I'm going down this road, and I'm starting this channel, and I hope everyone's enjoying it so far. Get a little more personal so you know who I am and what I do. A little bit of my personality. So that's the main reason I started this channel. And I'm going to keep it going. I make my real money doing my construction work, because, again, that's my bread and butter, and I'm very good at it. But I don't want to do that forever. I really don't. The more you do that kind of work, you deal with clients, you deal with personalities these days are could be a little vile and a little toxic. And certain people you deal with, like either their upbringing or, whatever shadow work they're not doing for themselves and not seeing their toxic projections on the world. I don't want to deal with that the rest of my life, I'd rather be in my shop, make a cool video, ship out my items. People message me later saying how cool it is. I just get some cool messages from people, because I have an Etsy shop I'm going to open back up again as well. So I'll let you all know about that when it's up and running again. But I used to get some cool, I got an email from this one dude. He's like, because I sold him a Warhammer, and he had a I think it was a climbing accident or something. And he said he picked up the Warhammer one day and he just swung it around out of anger or boredom, I don't know. But when he did it, it popped something back in place and his arm was fixed. Which is the coolest thing in the world. I was like, dude, that'd be like the best review. I picked up the Warhammer and the energy and I just swung it and it healed my arm. So that was pretty cool. And I'm a big fan of when people come to me and they give me an idea and I'll make heirloom items. I'm a big opponent of heirloom items. Like when I make you something, it's gonna outlast you. You're gonna be able to pass it down, you know? Like even the bottle openers, they're thick, heavy, chunky. You know, somebody pisses you off, it doubles as a weapon. But it'll be around. It'll be around for 1,000 years. And that to me is the coolest part about blacksmithing. Because you can make something in wood, but if it's left outside, it's gone within a year. Blacksmithing, there's something left outside, yeah, it's gonna rust. And it'll take a long time to rust away, but some of the items will never go away, you know? They'll be around for thousands of years. Then somebody will dig it up and clean it up and look at this mark on like, what is that? You know? And maybe they'll try and, you know, tie it to somebody. That'd be pretty cool. Cool thoughts I have. But anyway, that's how I got into smithing. And I really fell in love with it. I really did. The metalworking, I mean, the getting dirty part sucks, but whatever. I like hard work. Just do it once and try and shower once. I make the mistake sometimes because I'll just have these thoughts, and I'm upstairs and I'm on the net. I'm scrolling something. I'm doing research. I have a library as well. I'm a big book person, so I've 1,000+ books at least, and I read probably 50 books a year. So when doing my research, I'll get a spark of some spirit will just whisper something in my ear, and I'll run down to the shop and try and get it done. Then I'm dirty again, and I'm trying to take a shower at midnight. You know what I mean? It's kind of annoying, but it is what it is, and it keeps the fire going in you. And I went through a lot the past few years. I had a divorce. I was part of a tribe that just blew up and separated, and that broke my heart. Different friends came and gone. Financial crap. Whole COVID crap. The world's been different. So it kind of took a shot. That's why my shop closed for a year. So now being back, I feel like that fire is being lit again, metaphorically and literally. And it feels good. It really does feel good. And then like when I'm making these videos, because I didn't say this part, but I used to be a photographer for about 4 years professionally, because I am an artist. So that's before everything, I'm an artist. So that's probably why I work with my hands so much, because it's just a different form of art, and I do different ways, to inspire myself. I do different art forms. So I was a photographer, and that's how, like I said, that's how I got my forge. I sold that gear. But when doing the cinematography work and the editing, it's kind of sparking that old school photography stuff I used to do. And that's pretty cool. I like that feeling of it again. When I'm doing it, I hear myself talking, I say, man, I love doing it. This is cool. This is this, that. And those are the things that let you know you're on the right track in life. When you're talking to yourself, hopefully you're not talking back. But when you're talking to yourself and you're saying things like that to yourself, you're not saying things like, fuck, I hate this damn job. I hate this. You're not bitching like a little kid the whole time, because I've done that as well. That's when you're on the wrong path. You're not doing something you should be doing. But at the end of the day, even if you're struggling and you're like, man, that was cool, this is great, those are the things that are inspiring. Those are the avenues you need to walk, even if it means you make less money. Whatever. Money doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. We're all going to be dead tomorrow. You know what I mean? So do what you want to do, because life is way too short. Way too short. So I'll probably do another video like this, get a little more in deep detail, whatever, and go down that rabbit hole. But I just wanted to get a little personal with you guys, let you know where I'm at, check out the shop. I hope you enjoyed everything. And again, I'll try and make more videos like this, so when I get a little more people following me, it's pretty much a ghost town on my channel at the moment, because it just started. But that will change, and we'll see what the community turns like, see where the trolls pop up, and go from there. All right. Thanks everyone for watching, and stay strong and keep your spirits high.